Welcome back to the channel, men. If you're new here, this is Man of Substance, a space where we break down the hidden dynamics of women and relationships so you stop walking around confused. And for those of you who've been following along, you'll remember that in our last discussion, we talked about why a woman pushes you away even when she wants you. That topic opened a lot of eyes because it revealed how attraction isn't always straightforward. It often hides behind mixed signals. Today, we're going even deeper into that same theme. We're tackling something that most men overlook: the signs a woman likes you, but is trying not to show it. On the surface, she might look uninterested, even distant. But beneath that cool exterior, there's something else going on. And if you don't learn how to read between the lines, you'll misinterpret her behavior and walk away when you shouldn't. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're at a gathering and there's a woman you've noticed. She doesn't approach you. She doesn't laugh too loudly at your jokes, and at first glance, you'd think she doesn't care you're even there. But then, out of nowhere, you catch her adjusting her hair the moment you look in her direction, or when you finally exchange words. She acts casual, but her tone shifts slightly, softer, almost different from how she speaks to everyone else. She's guarding her feelings, but those little cracks in the mask give her away. This is exactly what we're going to unpack in today's video. Because the truth is, many women don't want to openly admit attraction right away. They'll play it safe, hold back, or even act disinterested just to keep the upper hand. But once you know the subtle cues, you'll stop second-guessing yourself and start seeing what she really feels. 1. She avoids you more than others. One of the most confusing behaviors men notice is when a woman seems to avoid them more than anyone else. On the surface, you might think, "She doesn't like me. Why else would she distance herself?" But that's exactly where many men get it wrong. Often, when a woman feels attraction she doesn't want to reveal, she'll do the opposite of what you'd expect. Instead of leaning in, she pulls away. Instead of making herself more available, she creates distance. Why? Because attraction makes her feel exposed. Being around you heightens her emotions, and if she's trying to keep those feelings hidden, the easiest strategy is avoidance. It's not that she dislikes you, it's that she doesn't trust herself to stay calm or controlled when you're near. So she removes herself from the situation altogether. This avoidance can show up in many subtle ways. Maybe she leaves the room when you enter. Maybe she suddenly becomes busy when you invite her somewhere, or she purposely avoids eye contact during conversations. But if she isn't behaving that way with anyone else, if it's only you, then you need to see it for what it really is: a defense mechanism. Think about it. If she genuinely wasn't interested, she wouldn't need to avoid you specifically. She'd treat you like she treats everyone else: neutral, indifferent, maybe even friendly. The fact that she makes a point to create space only when you're involved says a lot more than her words ever could. To make this clearer, let's use an example from pop culture. Remember the movie Mean Girls? There's a scene where Regina George pretends not to care about Aaron Samuels, the guy Katie likes. She acts like he's nothing special, but behind the scenes she's calculating every move around him. It's avoidance mixed with strategy. She distances herself in public, but only because she's managing her feelings and how others might perceive her. That's a dynamic many women play out in real life. For men, the key is to recognize the difference between genuine disinterest and protective avoidance. Genuine disinterest is flat. No emotional energy, no strong reaction. But avoidance that's targeted at you carries tension. You'll feel it in the way she leaves conversations abruptly, how she fumbles with excuses, or how she suddenly treats you differently than everyone else in the room. That tension is attraction, trying to hide itself. When you notice this, don't chase her harder or confront her about it. That only puts pressure on her and makes her retreat even more. Instead, hold your frame. Continue to be yourself, engage naturally, and allow her to come to terms with her feelings. The more comfortable she becomes, the more cracks will show in her avoidance strategy, and eventually her attraction will slip through. 2. Her eyes betray her feelings. When a woman is trying to hide her attraction, her words might sound neutral, her tone may seem controlled, and her body might even stay guarded. But her eyes will almost always tell on her. Men often underestimate just how much emotion slips through eye contact. or the lack of it. There are two extremes that usually appear when she's trying to cover up her feelings. On one hand, she may avoid your eyes completely. You'll notice that when she's speaking to others, her eye contact is steady and relaxed. But when it's you, she suddenly glances away, looks down, or pretends to be distracted. It feels as if she can't hold your gaze without exposing too much. That avoidance isn't disinterest, it's nervousness. It's the fear of giving away the very thing she's trying to keep hidden. On the other hand, some women go in the opposite direction. They'll look at you more than they should, but the moment you catch them, they quickly turn away. It's not casual, it's quick, almost guilty, like someone who got caught peeking. This back and forth game of looking and then avoiding isn't random. It's attraction fighting with self-control. She wants to see you, but she doesn't want you to know how much. Think about how it feels in real life. You've probably noticed times when you felt like a woman was watching you, even though she wasn't saying anything. It's that subtle awareness. You sense her attention without needing her words. That awareness doesn't happen by accident. When someone has no emotional connection to you, you don't feel that invisible pull. But when her eyes linger, even if briefly, you can sense it. Another thing to pay attention to is the difference between casual eye contact and charged eye contact. Casual eye contact feels flat, like someone acknowledging your presence out of politeness. Charged eye contact feels heavier. It creates tension. You notice it because it makes you slightly more aware of yourself in that moment. That subtle pressure is a signal that her emotions are involved. This is why her eyes are often the biggest giveaway. She can control her words, she can adjust her tone, she can even fake body language, but her eyes are harder to regulate. The nervous glances, the quick shifts, the flashes of emotion that slip through, all of these reveal what she's actually feeling. For men, the lesson here is simple. Don't just listen to what she says or how she acts on the surface. Pay attention to the unspoken communication happening through her eyes. That's where attraction leaks through, even when she's trying to hide it. And once you know how to read that, you'll never again confuse indifference with interest that's being suppressed. 3. She challenges you on purpose. One of the strongest signs a woman is interested, but doesn't want you to know, is when she challenges you more than other men. At first glance, this can be confusing. Most men assume that if a woman is interested, she'll go out of her way to be agreeable and pleasant. But when she's trying to keep her attraction hidden, she often goes in the opposite direction. Her challenges can come in subtle forms. Maybe she questions your opinions in conversation more than she does with others. Maybe she teases you about small things, pushing back on your words, or playfully disagreeing with something you've said. It's not meant to drive you away. It's her way of testing both herself and you. She's seeing if she can stay composed while feeling drawn to you, and at the same time, she's watching to see how you handle it. The key here is to understand that these challenges are not the same as rejection. When a woman is truly uninterested, she won't bother investing the energy to engage with you at all. She'll keep her answers short. She'll avoid deeper conversation, and she'll make it clear, through her lack of enthusiasm, that you don't matter to her. But when she challenges you directly, it means you stand out. You're the one she wants to measure herself against, the one she feels is worth the effort. Think about how it feels in real life. Imagine you're in a group setting, and everyone is casually agreeing with each other. Then she locks onto you and picks apart something you've said. Not in a harsh way, but in a way that draws attention. Suddenly, the energy in the room shifts. You feel like she's almost spotlighting you, forcing you to rise to the moment. That kind of targeted challenge isn't random. It's a sign that you're the one who matters to her more than the rest. Her behavior is a way of protecting herself too. By pushing you, by making you prove yourself in conversation, she creates a buffer. If you crumble under the pressure or react poorly, she can safely convince herself she never really liked you to begin with. But if you hold your ground, stay confident, and even enjoy the back and forth, she can't help but respect it. The challenge then becomes her way of engaging with you without openly admitting her attraction. For men, the biggest mistake is to take this behavior personally. Too many guys see it as disrespect or a sign she's not interested. In reality, it's often her way of saying, "I notice you, but I'm not going to make it easy." If you learn to stand firm, stay calm, and treat her challenges as a natural part of the dynamic, you'll find that her interest only grows stronger. Because deep down, what she's doing is revealing that you've already impacted her. Otherwise, there would be no reason for her to challenge you at all. 4. Her mood shifts around you. There are times when a woman's emotions reveal more than her words ever could. If you pay attention closely, you'll notice that her mood doesn't stay the same when you're around. It rises and falls, shifts suddenly, and feels unpredictable. To the untrained eye, this might look like disinterest or even confusion, but what's really happening is that your presence triggers something in her that she doesn't want to openly admit. You may see her being calm and relaxed until you enter the picture. Then she suddenly becomes more reserved, almost like she's guarding herself. Later, she might flip and show more energy or warmth, talking to you in a way she doesn't with others. That back and forth isn't random. It's a direct reflection of the inner conflict she's experiencing. Attraction on one side, self-protection on the other. If she truly didn't care about you, there would be no reason for her mood to change. Her tone, her body language, her energy would remain the same, no matter if you were present or not. But when you have an effect on her, she can't maintain that same consistency. Even when she tries to hide her interest, the emotional swings give her away. Most men miss this because they take the changes at face value. If she's acting cold, they assume she doesn't like them. If she suddenly becomes warm, they assume that means she's finally showing interest. The truth is, both reactions come from the same place. You influence her in a way she's trying to manage. The shifts are less about what she thinks of you in that exact moment, and more about how hard she's working to balance her emotions. This is why it's important not to overreact. When you notice her being distant, don't rush to chase or demand her attention. When she becomes warmer, don't get overly excited or assume she's made her feelings clear. Your role is to remain steady, unaffected by the changes. That calmness shows strength, and it also gives her the space to sort through her own emotions without pressure. The lesson here is simple. If her mood changes noticeably when you're around, it's not a coincidence. It's because she feels something for you, even if she doesn't want it to be obvious. Attraction rarely stays hidden perfectly, and her emotions are often the first thing to betray her. 5. She watches without acting. Sometimes the strongest sign of hidden interest isn't in what a woman does, it's in what she doesn't do. When she likes you but doesn't want it to show, she often chooses to watch from a distance instead of making a move. She'll notice your presence, pay attention to your actions, and even track the energy you bring into a room, but she won't step forward to reveal it. For men, this can be frustrating because you don't see direct action. There's no open flirting, no bold move, no clear declaration. Instead, it feels like she's standing on the sidelines. But that's exactly the point. She wants to stay hidden, even though her attention betrays her. Watching you allows her to satisfy her curiosity while still protecting her image. Think about how this plays out in everyday situations. You might be in a group setting, and while she doesn't say much directly to you, she pays attention to what you're saying to others. If you laugh with someone, she notices. If you leave the room, she notices. Her silence doesn't mean she's uninterested. It means she's trying to keep her feelings under control by holding herself back. A great way to picture this is through the movie Titanic. Remember how Rose often watched Jack from a distance before fully opening up to him? She didn't rush in with bold gestures right away. Instead, she observed, studied, and carefully measured him, even while pretending not to care. That quiet watching was her way of managing an attraction she wasn't ready to expose to the world around her. Real life works in a similar way. Many women will watch closely, but stay still, because stepping forward feels too risky. This behavior can also show up online. Maybe she views your stories but rarely comments. Maybe she likes a post now and then but doesn't reach out directly. She's monitoring, but she's holding back. It's her way of staying connected while keeping a level of distance that protects her from vulnerability. The mistake most men make is assuming that silence or lack of obvious action means disinterest. But that's not always true. Silence can be loud if you know how to read it. A woman who's paying attention to you while staying in the background is revealing just as much as one who openly flirts. The difference is that one is hiding, while the other is comfortable showing it. For you, the key is to remain aware without overanalyzing. Don't corner her about why she's watching, but not engaging. Don't demand that she act. Just recognize that her focus on you is a form of attention, even if it doesn't look the way you expected. If she wasn't interested, she wouldn't notice you at all. The very fact that she pays attention, even in silence, tells you everything you need to know. 6. She talks about other men to test you. One of the most confusing moves women make when they secretly like you is bringing up other men in conversation. At first, it might seem like she's trying to signal that she's taken or that you don't stand a chance, but in many cases, this behavior is less about the other man and more about you. She's testing your reaction, gauging how you handle competition, and seeing what kind of man you really are under pressure. When a woman truly has no interest in you, she doesn't need to bring up other men in your presence. She won't go out of her way to talk about who texted her, who she went out with, or who's giving her attention. But when she does this with you specifically, it usually means there's an agenda behind it. She wants to see if you'll get jealous, insecure, or flustered. At the same time, she's curious about how much you actually care. You may have noticed this before. She casually mentions that another guy complimented her, or she talks about someone who might be interested in her. On the surface, she keeps it light, but beneath the surface, she's watching your body language, your tone, and the way you respond. If you brush it off with calmness and confidence, it shows you're not threatened and you understand your own value. If you get upset or defensive, it tells her you can be shaken easily. This behavior is about control. Attraction makes her feel vulnerable, and by bringing up other men, she regains some of that power. She gets to watch how you handle the situation while keeping her own feelings hidden. It's her way of saying, I'm not going to show you how I feel directly, but I want to know where I stand with you. For men, the biggest mistake here is overreacting. Some guys will get jealous immediately and start questioning her. Others will try to compete by bad-mouthing the other guy or overhyping themselves. Both of these approaches backfire because they show that you're shaken by what she said. The better approach is to stay centered. Acknowledge what she says lightly. Don't let it pull you into competition, and carry on with confidence. When you stay calm in those moments, you flip the script. Instead of her testing you, she ends up revealing more about herself. The fact that she even brought up another man means she wanted to see your reaction, which shows that you matter to her more than she wants to admit. If you didn't, your reaction wouldn't be worth testing in the first place. At the end of the day, talking about other men isn't always about bragging or dismissing you. Often, it's a cover, a way of hiding her real interest while checking to see if you'll expose yours. Recognize it for what it is, a signal that she feels something for you, even if she won't say it directly. 7. Her body language. Words can be controlled, but the body rarely lies. A woman who's trying to hide her attraction will often keep her speech neutral, but her body will send signals she doesn't realize she's giving off. The way she positions herself, the small movements she makes, and even how her energy shifts physically around you all matter more than what comes out of her mouth. For example, notice if she leans slightly toward you when you speak, even when she's trying to act uninterested. Watch how she plays with her hair or adjusts her appearance whenever you enter the room. Pay attention to her feet. Are they pointing toward you even when her head is turned away? These things might seem small, but they're windows into what she's really feeling. Her body is showing you what she's working hard to hide. Now here's where many men need a bit of honest reflection. Too often guys ignore these signals completely. They're so focused on her words, I'm busy, I'm not sure, I'm fine, that they take everything at face value and miss what her actions are screaming. If you're only listening to what she says while ignoring what she does, you're not paying full attention. And that lack of awareness is why opportunities slip by. Another mistake is overanalyzing every little movement. Men who lack confidence will turn into detectives, trying to decode every glance, every touch, every shift of posture, as if it's a puzzle to solve. That kind of obsessing only makes you anxious and less attractive. The point is not to overthink. It's to recognize obvious patterns and trust your ability to read the situation. This is where you, as a man, need to wake up. If her words are flat, but her body language lights up around you, that's not a coincidence. If she acts distant verbally, but finds excuses to stand near you, that's not random. You have to start seeing the bigger picture and stop relying on the simplest surface-level explanations. Too many men give up too early because they assume she's not interested, when, in reality, she's hiding how much she is. The action you need to take is simple. Raise your awareness and your standards. Don't settle for the easy excuse of she said she's busy when her behavior shows otherwise. Don't keep chasing after women who show you no verbal or physical signs at all. Learn to spot the difference. Respect her words, but pay attention to her actions too. When her body language keeps drawing her closer to you, despite what she says, you've uncovered the truth. At the end of the day, reading her body language is about more than attraction. It's about sharpening your instincts as a man. Train yourself to notice what most guys miss. That awareness won't just help you with women. It'll make you sharper in every area of life. We've just gone through 7 signs that a woman might like you while trying her best not to show it. From the way she avoids you, to her eyes, to her body language. These are things you'll start to notice everywhere once you train yourself to pay attention. The truth is, most men miss these signals, not because they are impossible to see, but because they've never been taught how to read them. And here's the part many won't agree with. Women often expect men to figure it out without them ever saying it out loud. So, don't walk through life blind to what's happening right in front of you. Start becoming more observant, sharpen your awareness, and stop assuming her words always tell the full story. If her actions don't line up with what she says, you need to pay attention to that gap. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed a woman showing these signs while pretending not to be interested? Share your story in the comments. I'll be going through them and engaging with as many of you as I can, because these conversations are where the real growth happens.